we're pivoting on now to Super Rugby. It's a load of stuff going on here. It's super exciting.
Yeah.
A load of teams in the mix.
It's great. I can't remember a Super Rugby season with as many teams as in contention as they are.
In recent seasons, in old school seasons, you got seasons like this, but in recent years, it's been so Kiwi dominated.
Yeah.
And while the best two teams in the league still are the Kiwi teams, there's
some scrap going on
below that. Yeah, indeed.
And some enterprising rugby coming from the likes of the Jags, coming from the likes of the Rebels, although they were only against the Sunwolves this week and did duly put a score on them. But there's also
Do you want to know my favourite game of the week that I want to start with?
Was it perhaps the Sharks and the Lions?
It was.
Yes.
It was.
Yeah.
It was not one but two interceptions from Elton Yankees.
I know. And
Kerwin Bosch getting one of them, and then the other of them being an absolute 14-point swing.
Yeah.
Where he looked up, tried to throw an Adam Hastings pass, couldn't, and only gone and thrown the ball to Mapimpi, the fastest guy in the league.
And away he goes.
He was actually, if you watch him again, he's like jogging.
Yeah, I know.
Didn't break his
not a
side.
hope of anyone catching.
But
crazy implosion mode from the Lions, but also just good
aggressive D, and just like they're like the best South African franchise for just being organised and structured and disciplined and playing
they
like
know
an
what they're
actual
trying
team.
to do. They as we kind of said in our preview for this game, going like they probably lacking a bit of individual quality that some of the other franchises.
The Lions' tries were better than their tries.
Yeah,
but they soaked a load of pressure and came up with a winning play. And just when a team gets to within 2 yards of their try line, they are the only South African team that doesn't say, alright,
just
have your
a try and we'll go
They
again.
don't. They keep their structure, they keep their defence, and then it comes up and works for them sometimes.
Flying out of the line, trying to make hits, or getting in the passing lane, as the case may be. And it did. It paid dividends. And then even towards the end, Lions did have chances to win it. They ended up taking 3 off a dominant penalty scrum, and then the Sharks responded with a long Kerwin Bosch penalty.
That 3 was interesting because it made it a 7-point game. So it was giving up their chance to win the game, and then it got duly punished because they didn't even get their losing bonus point from it.
I love little justice moments like that as well. It's a very losing. Maybe we'll go for the draw. It's the same thing that happened with the All Blacks coming to Ireland and kicking the 3 to make it a draw. We were raising eyebrows at that ourselves back then, and this is another instance like that where you're going like, what? Wait, what? Considering the place in the pitch where it was an easy kick, obviously, but it's like much better attacking platform, chance to win the game.
Kerwin Bosch his hand is raised.
Oh yeah,
ball is in Razi's court. His hand is raised.
In my eyes, he should be there. He's a better option. You
can have Willems as third choice. Backup is Kerwin, and Elton is Gonzo.
Yeah, that's always been my take on it.
But Kerwin is coming to his own.
Yeah,
like this is.
He's more of a fit for the. Again, it's more about Springboks as well. Like when you're thinking Springboks and thinking Springbok 10s, in my mind, Kerwin Bosch fits that mold well. The way he slots long kicks is excellent as well. Awesome. But the way he's an abrasive defender, he's an abrasive tackler,
he's an abrasive carrier as well. He's a similar. He's not as big, obviously, a unit as Andre Pollard.
No,
but he's got techers to his game. And he can run a back line.
And he doesn't soft out of tackles or go kind of tickling stuff. He doesn't do any of that, which is not in keeping with Springboks. What you want in your 10 is a hard-nosed kind of guy.
But that was awesome. That was a great little justice moment, and it's put the Sharks into a real moment, and they
very
are
strong position
the team
now,
that you would rely on to, in a quarter-final context, go and pull off a win against an Australasian team.
For sure.
They're the SAFA team that you back to do it.
For sure.
I tell you who aren't. The bloody Bulls, who, as we said last week, we said this Brumbies game would be make or break.
I think it's the Bulls and the Sunwolves are the worst tackling teams in this tournament.
It's not that they're bad; they just take games off.
They're just but some of the attempted tackles are shocking, and some of those tries that were running against them again this week, but all weeks, it's just so soft. No, it's very, very hard to respect anything that they're doing. Like, they're such big lads, and yet they're just barely committing to tackles and soak tackles constantly or slipping off, allowing the hands to be free. But it's like the amount of times teams like break the line or make an enterprise and think it's instantly a try against them, and you just think it's like that's a bit of go forward that should result in 10 phases if there's a try to come against a team that's in it to defend.
And in fact there was a load of tries just being scored off first phase against them, but there was also like little moments like knock-ons from them, like they were just out of the game from minute one. And no disrespect to the Brumbies who did what they did, they did what they do, they did their jobs,
they did very well actually.
Henry Spate was looking pretty good,
as was Corabetti, I think. Current Drani even. Sorry,
nice juicy hat-trick. Yeah. Just after we were saying we'd pick Karevi over him last week.
Yeah,
he comes back storming back with a hat-trick
to change our minds again. Yeah. Like, to be honest, it's
he's the better rugby player, to be honest.
Yeah, he is.
Overall, Curran Drani. Karevi may be a slightly better defender. It's an awkward debate.
It is.
You can't have both.
It's true, but the Brumbies, to be fair, have been showing their proficiency at grabbing not just maul tries.
In this game, anyone can grab a non-maul try against the Bulls. You just run straight.
Just run the hard line, and there it is.
The Bulls got a good win out in New Zealand last week, and then we were thinking that next week is make or break. Maybe they've turned a corner. Maybe they're going to pull it out. And it was like, I think he was saying, like, I might change my mind if they go and win that game, but if they don't, it'll reinforce everything.
And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm doubling down, going,
no, you're right.
They're rubbish, and they're not going to do anything. And they maybe will get their arse over the line as far as being in the playoffs or not, although that's not a sure thing at all.
Yeah.
But even if they do, they're not a factor in my mind. They're just not a contender for this tournament. Yeah. They can't be, looking at the way they play.
And another team that, like, you would have said are making a real go at this up until the news in the week, but like the Stormers did a real job over the Highlanders.
Yeah,
they are such a Sia Khaleesi led team though.
They are.
He lives and breathes like everything that they do. He's captain fantastic. He scored another Texas
2 weeks in a row that he's smashed through to score an amazing try all of his own.
And he's the best blindside flanker in the world.
Yeah.
Ahead of Peter O'Mahony.
Yeah.
He's an awesome player.
Yeah.
And he's injured for the rest of the season, which that's just a burst balloon for the Stormers.
It is, and it's a terrible thing for the World Cup if that's the case
as well. The thing is that we've heard that it's like, this is what's scaring me, is that we've heard it's a knee injury. They haven't told us anything more about it. Other
that's
than
always hairy stuff.
He's instantly out of the Super Rugby, and then he's saying he wants to brace it for 6 weeks and then be back for the Rugby Championship. He's saying an option for surgery or just to brace it. We don't have a medical expert in here, so we don't really know. It's just, the only thing is that when you have a knee injury, it's unconfirmed what it is, but they're instantly telling you that for the foreseeable future he's not playing. There's always the scary thought that it could be a cruciate, and then that's the World Cup gone. And we had Dan Levy, we've had DMAC, we're not having Sia bloody Khaleesi missing the World Cup. That would be the worst one yet.
It would be a shame, and it would actually diminish the Springboks' chances of winning the World Cup, which are currently, in my estimations, very high. High likelihood that Springboks end up being the champions. But
that picture involves him lifting the trophy.
Yes, it does. That's obviously terrible news to come out of the game. But what a try.
What a team.
And to be fair, what a performance from them as well. They actually did really well this week.
Putting those Highlanders to bed, those flaky ass Highlanders.
Flaky is right. And some of their plays, like for the first half they weren't a non-entity. They've like literally only registered 3 points and the game was done by half time. And they put in a few nice pretty Kiwi tries towards the end, but only when the game was a done thing. So that's not very encouraging signs. They are on the road in their defence.
I like Newlands is one of my favorite. It's probably my favourite stadium in the whole comp.
True.
And they do get a good crowd over there. Good atmosphere.
It's one of my favourite things about all the Kiwi teams though, is that they do try and make plays in every game. It's not, you don't see what we saw from the Bulls where they're just a non-entity in any game. Like even if they're getting bullied physically and they're getting dominated in South Africa, which happens, they're still going to grab a couple of tries. And
they're not going to just be completely soft either.
So it's I can at least respect that hustle. They're the second best team in that, and fair, they're the right team won. It's only the only addendum is fucking why did Sia Khaleesi have to be the one to go down?
I know. The real story of the week though is the Jags at it again. Destroying Phil Kearns' sanity and
it shouldn't even be a team though. A national side.
Well, Rugby Pass posted a great little thing which was showing that actually there were more capped internationals in the Taz team. And they had like more cumulative caps, more players with 50+ caps, more test players.
As if you needed some kind of reason.
It's hilarious that he wasn't only talking brown, he was actually wrong in what he was saying as well. He was just flat out incorrect.
Kearns is consistently just whinging and not actually making any cogent points or talking sense.
In there is one of my favourites.
No, he's a whinger, and he lost. And the Waratahs are not all that, and they never really have been.
It's a huge blow for them in terms of like they're still in it, obviously, because so many teams are. They're in that little zone just outside of the sort of wild card qualifications.
But they're at a level that where once they come across the Crusaders, they're just not getting any further. You know, like
they did beat them earlier.
They did. I know, but
they're not going to Christchurch and winning. No. And the Jags were just better than them.
They were just the Jags. This is where I'm looking at all of these contenders, and I'm thinking of all of them, and it's so hard. That's why it's such an interesting question when we get into postseason. The Jags need to make it to postseason. And then it's about what do they look like in those like knockout games, because on a player for player basis and on a gameplay basis, they look like the contenders of the group that haven't been there for the last few seasons.
They're obviously, the players are in the mood, which helps when they're Argentinian. Like they're pulling off the plays, they're in sync with one another in attack. They're reading each other really well, like that De La Fuente chip from Moroni, was it?
Yes, I think so.
Who got in on the wing, and then like. Or was it Moyano?
I think it was Moyano.
Yeah, exactly, with his brace. But that little kick, like that's just an example of off the cuff, two players in sync with each other. But crucially, it came off a bit of structure, which made that space, and that's what's going into their game in defence as well. Is there's a lot of structure there. They actually know what they're doing. It is World Cup year Argentina.
Yes, it is.
It's a different
dangerous side. Dangerous side. That's why I really want to see them get to that
breakdown
level
as well. Like they're just firing. Like I'm amazed they're not tired. They've been touring for so long. They've been travelling. They're playing week in, week out, and then in this game, having just been in New Zealand, they've flown across to Australia. They're just flying into breakdowns on the defence. They're just constantly in their hustling.
They don't stop. They're like they're breaking teams on the basis that they're just not stopping. They're relentless. There's a relentlessness to their play,
and then it's that scary thing that happens when Argentina click. Is that they just make plays and then keep making plays, and then you're just powerless to stop this team that you've been beating for 4 years. They're just doing wildly unreal shit. It's just scaring the hell out of you.
Happens a lot. They're a wonderful colour and part of the rugby world, and that's why I would love to see them compete for this title. I'd love to see them see a final, like for the first time. It's unprecedented.
Well, they haven't seen the postseason yet.
They haven't yet. So I know. Well, that's the first thing, and there's obviously a load of unanswered questions about that because finals footy is obviously an inherently different thing.
It would be nice for them. They're in pole position to top the conference. If they can see that out, then it's a home quarter final. They're bringing someone to Buenos Aires for a postseason game.
Amazing. That's
brilliant.
what we want to see. And on the showings, they have deserved it, because you're looking at throughout the SAFA conference, where obviously we've been talking about the Bulls, but then you're talking about the Lions as well, and even the Stormers, they would be hammering a team one week and then ship a load of points the next. And the only team this year that haven't been doing that really are the Jags.
Well, they've gone on this run. They managed to. They're obviously.
But even the games they've lost, it's not that they're not present in those games. They've been there to.
And they're the team with the most travel. So I don't know what they're doing.
No, it's an attitude. It's not a fatigue thing. I don't.
It can be. It can be.
It's not on that consistent level. I know, but I'm talking about in terms of just the on again, off again stuff with SAFA teams. I don't think fatigue's the full picture on that. There's something more about the club culture at play.
Yeah, there. And you see it not having nearly as big an impact on the Sharks, who are there to play. By far the best coached team in that conference. Or excluding the Jags. The other games, the Crusaders managed to just the Blues were in that game. They were trying things, and maturity won out. In a sort of they're comparable.
It was an inevitable feeling, even when you're looking at the Blues playing well and trying things and asking questions, you're going.
I tell you what, I know the answer. Richie Mo'unga is looking seriously mature. I don't know if O'Gara has been whispering sweet nothings.
I'm sure
into
he
his
has
ear,
been whispering sweet something.
He's just looking super controlling.
He knows exactly what he's doing, and he knows exactly what he can do and what he should be doing.
Serious argument now. Barrett has got to watch his back because that guy can run a game.
Yeah, compared to what the Hurricanes do. Like the Hurricanes are very loosey goosey with it, and they can produce some great plays. It's not entirely but I'm still looking at Mo'unga as being a proper game manager, proper little O'Gara of a thing, who's actually a robust tackler and a pretty aggressive carrier himself.
He's the runner of the ball.
Yeah.
But the Bowden fans' counter argument is just look at the pack that Mo'unga is playing with and compare it to the pack that Bodie has to deal with. It's a very big difference.
It's hard to judge anyone based on a 10 based on that when you're just dominating up front the whole time.
But certainly he's like cruising through the game, just making the right calls at the right
not
times.
Putting himself in too many compromising positions, which is a good sign in a 10. He's there on his feet often to be calling the next play.
And as a team they just look assured. Like this wasn't a crucial game for them, but it was just an assured step. And
they weren't going to slip.
They weren't on their blow. It was it was wet weather footy. It was a different kind of game.
Getting through a fixture,
and they just and they did it. 8-point win. Happy days.
Which is literally perfect by the metric of the league table as well. So they're doing
the Chiefs by contrast are completely lost, and that game against what in my estimation is a really scrappy ass poor Reds outfit that are trying to be some sort of Exeter light in the way that they go about things, but actually don't have that good a pack. And it was a scary low standard in that game, and they should have lost it. They should have lost it in that last play.
There are two teams that aren't in contention.
It was the biggest nothing game, but they should have lost at home to the Reds. They pulled that maul down. That was a Mr. P try all day.
Down by red is what he said. He's like, why would it be down by? They didn't.
No, but it wasn't. It was dragged down by the Chiefs, and that should have been a try, and it should have been a big win for Brad Thorne's boys. An ugly win, but a big win.
Would have looked good. But so the Chiefs scrape through, but they're not going to be featuring later in the year. And then
I just wanted to say that there wasn't any other fixture. I just want to say the standings are super interesting as things stand. For the first time, I think in forever, we've got 4 teams as things stand from the South African Conference who've played fewer games for the most part than the Kiwi Conference. You'd have 4 teams from the South African Conference minus the Jags, who are really an Argentinian team. 3 South Africans, 1 Argentinian, 2 Australian and 2 Kiwi would be the quarterfinals as of now. Have you ever seen the like?
No, it's crazy. It's lovely.
Crucially, that wildcard position of 30 points, the bottom wildcard qualifier is 30 points. The Stormers are also on 30 but have 1 fewer games, so they're not in. And then on 26 Blues, 27 Chiefs, 29 Highlanders, 24 Reds, 26 Taz. Everyone who isn't the Sunwolves is still in this.
Mathematically for sure. There's a fair few games to go, few more permutations to come. And it's just who are going to be the consistent performers in this latter half of the season? That's the question we have to have answered.
And there's this is where it gets really fun, because we're into round 16. There are 3 rounds to go, and every game now is massive. Well, you've never been able to say this about Super Rugby, but every game is massive. Blues against the Bulls in Auckland this week.
You'd think the loser of that is out.
Probably. But the winner of that could be
he's
right
still
back in.
Well, he's still in the mix for sure.
If the winner of that game is going to be ahead of all the other games happening that week, is going to be in the playoffs as things stand.
They're pretty much in a position where all 3 rounds are important, and you just have to. It's basically finals footy for them from now to the end of the season, because they need to be winning every game to stay in contention to get as far as the finals. And once they're in the finals, they're in the finals.
These games will be done by the time we've uploaded it. The Friday games, 2 make or break ones. The Rebels against the Taz. For the Rebels, conference topping, it's huge. For the Taz, it's just staying in the comp. So they're 2 massive games. They will have happened by the time you see this. So we'll just breeze over them, but I think 2 huge games. I'm curious to see what will have happened in them. And then obviously on Saturday, the Brumbies have the luxury of playing the Sunwolves this week, which helps them in their conference.
They get to practice their backline moves.
Huge. But then Chiefs Crusaders is sort of not as important a game, even though it could be fun.
This is in years
the
gone
Chiefs
by.
are in it though. If they do win it, they are improbably in it. But I just
big enough ask
for
considering that showing that they just had against the Reds,
27 points. They're as in it as anybody. But just watching them at the weekend, they look all over the place, and the Crusaders are just gonna slaughter them in a sad, this isn't Dave Rennie's team kind of way.
Indeed.
Yeah, they have been the same.
They really haven't. They've been gutted though from top to bottom between Dave Rennie, your James Lowes.
Yeah, D-Mac's injured now.
Cruden gone.
Traballo and everybody else.
Everyone's gone.
Michael Leach, the whole team, the whole band is gone.
Yeah, it's a shame. Yeah, they haven't.
Kicker Elliott, but it was an awesome team. It no longer is, and they're just flaky. I predict the Crusaders there.
Yeah,
Jags away in Queensland against the Reds. Eminently winnable.
It is eminently winnable. They're Queensland aren't as good a team as the Waratahs, who they just beat. It's the only thing with the Jags is it a something's got to give thing, because they've been travelling so much, winning so much. Is there a loss coming?
Well, listen, the trip from Sydney to Brisbane.
No, it's not. I know, but it's the end of with the end in sight, finish line in sight, kind of ball.
We'll see how their cardio's been going.
But I'm going to use our little kind of better team to win buzz and just say the Jags are going to win that. It's on the evidence of this season, the Jags are a better team.
There's massive intrigue then in the SAFA games that are going on later on Saturday afternoon. The Sharks against the Hurricanes. That's super interesting in Natal. Super disciplined, awesome, well drilled Sharks who've just come off a big win against raw talent.
In the Hurricanes could click, like the Hurricanes have all black credentials all over them and could just blitzkrieg them, or could
find themselves in a scrappy game.
But it's
They've
definitely
been
it's a stylistic clash as well. They have, they're hot and cold is what I think of them really when I think Hurricanes. It's like when they're hot, they're very, very hot. But when they're cold, it's a little disjointed, it's a little clunky, and sometimes you're questioning what are they actually drilling in that team a lot of the time.
I think the Sharks could be the team, other than the Sailors, obviously, to shut down what Lamotte does. I'd be curious to see that picture, because he just gives them such go forward ball, but he doesn't pass. He is one dimensional. He is predictable, but he does give a lot of go forward. He picks great lines.
Well, a lot of times it's a don't argue, where he's like, he's going to run into you, but he bumps you off anyway.
But he also just finds the right, he does pick good lines.
He does
for sure.
And he's little. He's elusive in his littleness as well. Like he's a little pocket tank.
Are those Sharks men going to be the guys to hold him out? They are good defenders. There's a lot of curious pictures in that one, and obviously for the Sharks, it's a massive game. Every game is make or break at this level, at this moment. And so it's another super curious, super huge game
for sure.
The Lions Stormers would be infinitely more interesting if Sia Khaleesi was still about.
I suspect the Lions are probably going to win that.
It's typical, isn't it, that Khaleesi gets injured and then the next week the Lions
and the Stormers are going to come across a Stormers shorn of all. Well,
Peter Steph is gone as well. Obviously, it has been.
That's despite only being two men, that's half their pack.
Now the Lions have missed. The other news is Warren Whiteley is out for the season for them, and he is a big player.
He's their go forward. A lot of their go forward. But that's we're at that part of the season where that happens for all teams.
Listen, just play a blitz defense and hope that Yankees passes you the ball, and you might just get lucky.
You might just curl in there, run in.
This is as fun a Super Rugby season as I can remember. Since that season, the last season where Dave Rennie was in charge of the Crusaders before they got shorn, which was also very fun. Was that 2 years? The Chiefs. That was a fun year as well, but it was different kind of fun where the Kiwi teams were all over them. But as a spreaded tournament,
this is it. Well, when we're talking about round 16 now, but round 15, and even like from about round 12, we've been looking at this going like, this is actually a good year. Everyone's involved. Everyone's kind of hustling.
The best season since the 2014 season when Taz won it, but also the Force were going very well. That was a great season.
Exciting little lines. This is it. So it's going to be interesting to just watch who are they going to emerge as the ones with the proper consistency to get there, and then once they get there, are there going to be upsets, and are there going to be a team to challenge for the title, or is it going to be the Crusaders going for their 3 in a row? Because the Crusaders probably look like the best team on balance of all of them, looking at all of them playing their games. So you're thinking deserving
of winning. You have to go to Christchurch to win.
Exactly.
And win. Somebody has to do that.
So that's obviously not the likely.
The Jags are probably the most likely team to do it.
I would say so.
Just because of the
way they play and I think they would present the most difficult challenge for the Crusaders compared to what the other teams bring. They're also the closest thing to an unknown for the Crusaders, because the Crusaders have played all of these teams before, but they haven't played this Jags this year properly.
I'm going to stick with my Sharks love, though, and just say that it's in their club DNA
to do it.
Do you remember that game years ago when there was a red card for, I can't remember who, but one of the Sharks players was red carded, and they played the whole game in Christchurch with 14 men and won it. Yeah. That was just insane.
Phenomenal.
That was Richie McCaw and Dan Carter as well. Like the Sharks, they just have those touring things. Like I really want them in the playoffs just because I think that they can pull something off.
Yeah, they have a big game mentality that you definitely kind of have to value in the context of a tournament like this.
That said, this regular season game against the Canes could be a real slip up.
It's true. It's danger. But excitement all over.
Totally.
Super Rugby heating up as we have led with all the last few weeks is just it's getting proper good now. The first few rounds are only a warm up anyway in that comp. We're only getting started then. Thank you very much for watching that video. If you're new here, please like and subscribe down below, and leave a comment as well, because we enjoy the chat and conversation. Thank you.